Picture this, right? You wake up at like 3 a.m., and not because of an alarm, but because your brain just remembered that your bank account is practically at zero.
Oh man, yeah. That is, that's just the absolute worst feeling. The definition of an entrepreneur's worst nightmare.
Right. It's March 2017. You were just completely broke. You've sunk your entire life savings into launching gyms for other people. And suddenly you get hit with a staggering $150,000 in refund requests.
Yeah, you're staring into the abyss at that point. Like, there is no safety net catching you.
Exactly. Every single number on your screen is just a massive negative. You realize you can't even make payroll for your closest friends. And that is exactly where Alex Hormozi found himself.
Which is just wild to think about now.
It really is. So today's deep dive is all about unpacking the frameworks from his book, 100 ML Leads. We've got 5 key sources we're pulling from today, kind of breaking down the major chapters.
Right, the 5 core frameworks of the system.
Yep. And our mission today is to take you from that terrifying, gut-wrenching anxiety of, where is my next customer coming from, to actually building an unstoppable compounding machine, one that just generates an overflow of engaged leads.
Because honestly, the crazy part of that origin story isn't the failure, it's the pivot.
Yeah, Hormozi didn't go bankrupt. To survive, he frantically pivoted to selling online fitness directly to consumers. And during that chaotic time, a desperate gym owner called him, literally begging for help.
And Hormozi didn't even want to do it, right?
Not at all. He threw out what he thought was just this ridiculous go-away price. He told the guy he'd sell his gym launching secrets for $6,000.
And the guy just said, done. Just handed over the credit card.
I really want to unpack this because it feels like a missing piece of the puzzle to me. Like, how do you go from losing absolutely everything to having people literally beg to pay you $6,000 for your secrets?
Right.
If I'm broke and desperate, no one is handing me $6,000. What actually changed in that dynamic?
Well, what changed is really the fundamental baseline for this entire deep dive. It's a total shift in how we define a customer interaction. Hormozi shifted from just wanting leads to demanding engaged leads.
Engaged leads. Okay, what's the structural difference there?
It's a massive difference. A lead is, it's just a name on a list. It's someone who walked past your store or scrolled past your post. They have a pulse, but that's about it.
Just a completely cold body.
Exactly. But an engaged lead, that is someone who has a specific problem, they have the money to solve it, and they've actively raised their hand to show interest in your specific solution.
So that gym owner wasn't just like a random name in a phone book.
Far from it. I mean, he was desperate to save his own business, he had access to credit, and he knew Hormozi had a system that had worked before. So the entire framework we're dissecting today, across all 5 sources, is built on mathematically manufacturing that exact type of high-intent engagement.
Instead of just, shouting into the void and hoping someone hears you.
Precisely. You manufacture it.
Okay, I'm sold on the concept. I want engaged leads. But how do I actually get someone to raise their hand? Like, if I'm a business owner, I can't just stand on the street corner asking who has a problem and a credit card.
No, definitely not. You have to bake the hook. You need to offer them something they actually want, and it has to be completely risk-free.
Okay.
This is the concept of the lead magnet. It's a free offering that solves one very narrow, very painful problem for your target audience.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Give me some examples.
Sure. The source material categorizes these into 4 distinct delivery methods. First, you have software or tools.
Like what?
Think of a free mortgage calculator on a real estate website. It solves the immediate problem of, what will my monthly payment be?
Oh, right. I use those all the time.
Exactly. Second is information. So a digital guide, a cheat sheet, or even a full book offered for free just to capture an audience.
Oh.
Third, you have services, like a marketing agency offering a free website audit. And fourth, physical products, like a free sample of a pre-workout supplement shipped right to your door. The format actually matters less than the utility.
Wait, hold on. I'm looking at my own business right now, and you're telling me I need to give away my absolute best stuff, like my most valuable tools, for free.
Yeah, that's the idea.
But if I'm a magician and I reveal how the trick is done in the lobby before the show even starts, why would anyone buy a ticket to the actual show? I mean, they already know the secret.
It feels incredibly counterintuitive, I know. It totally triggers that scarcity mindset. But here's where it gets really interesting and why your magician analogy doesn't quite hold up in business.
Okay, why not?
Because Hormozi's philosophy is explicitly this. Give away the secrets, sell the implementation.
Give away the secrets, Sell the implementation. Unpack that for me.
You really have to understand consumer psychology here. The marketplace judges your paid products based entirely on the quality of your free products. That is their only data point, right?
That makes sense.
So if you hold back out of fear and you give away what Hormozy calls sucky fluff, like a generic top 10 list everyone has already seen, people are just going to assume your paid stuff sucks too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've definitely downloaded free guides that were terrible and just immediately unsubscribed.
We all have. Your free lead magnet must provide more actual tangible value than the literal cost of your core offer.
Because if the free stuff is that profound, their brain automatically makes the leap. Like, imagine what paying them gets me.
Precisely. And going back to your magician analogy, telling someone how a trick works doesn't mean they have the sleight of hand to actually perform it themselves.
That is a really good point.
Right. If you tell your audience exactly what to do and how it works, a large portion of them will realize doing it themselves is incredibly hard, time-consuming, or just tedious.
So they'll gladly pay you to actually implement the secret for them.
Exactly. You aren't selling the information. You are selling the execution.
Okay, so just to do a quick mini recap here, we know we need engaged leads. To get them, we create a lead magnet that is so good it hurts to give away for free. We give away the secrets to sell the execution.
That's step one.
But, okay, let's say I push through the fear. I spend a week building this amazing free calculator, or this incredibly deep guide. I put it on my website. And it's just gathering dust. Crickets.
Right, the build it and they will come fallacy.
Exactly. I have the bait, but no one is biting because no one even knows the bait exists. How do I actually get eyeballs on this thing without spending a fortune?
This is where we introduce the Core 4 framework. It demystifies the entire landscape of marketing into a very simple 2x2 matrix.
Okay, lay out the matrix for me.
You have two audiences, warm, meaning people who already know you, and cold, meaning total strangers.
Warm and cold. Got it.
And then you have two communication styles, one-to-one private communication and one-to-many public communication.
Okay, let's walk through those combinations, starting with the warm audience. One-to-one warm outreach. This is direct messaging people who are already in your phone or follow you on social media, right?
Yep, exactly.
I have to admit, this one makes me cringe a little bit. We've all received those terrible pyramid scheme DMs from someone we went to high school with. Like the classic, hey girl, want to be your own boss? It just feels so slimy.
It feels slimy because those messages violate the basic rules of human connection. They are entirely self-serving. But the source text actually provides a script framework to avoid that stranger danger reflex.
Oh, I'd love to hear the script. How do we do this without being annoying?
It's all about checking in and providing value first. The DM script is something like, saw you just had a baby, congrats, how is everyone doing?
So you're just acting like a normal human being.
Exactly. You reestablish a human connection. Then, if the conversation flows organically, you eventually let them know what you're up to, and you offer the free lead magnet if it makes sense for them. You are offering value, not begging for a sale.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay, then there's the one-to-many warm approach, which is posting free content to your followers or your email list. And the text gives a formula here, right? Hook, retain, and reward.
Right. You hook their attention with a bold claim or a question. You retain it using what the text calls lists, steps, and stories.
Structuring the information so the brain actually wants to stick around for the resolution.
Exactly. And then you reward them with massive value, pointing them toward that irresistible lead magnet we just talked about.
But what if you don't have an audience? What if your warm list is literally just your mom and your dog?
Well, then you have to cross over to the cold side of the matrix.
Which brings us to one-to-one cold outreach. Cold email, cold calling, cold DMs to complete strangers. If the warm DM was awkward, this feels like downright terrifying.
It is brutal if you do it wrong. I mean, when you open an email from someone you don't know, your brain is instantly scanning for the delete trigger.
Oh, 100%. I delete cold emails in about half a second.
To overcome that inherent lack of trust, you need deep personalization and big, fast value. So a cold email script isn't a 4-paragraph essay about your company's history.
Right. So what is the script?
It has to be ruthlessly targeted. Something like, I noticed your specific company is struggling with X. I created a free guide specifically for businesses in your industry to solve X in 3 steps. Mind if I send it over?
Oh, that's good. It's short. It shows you actually did your homework, and it leads with the free value.
Exactly. And the final quadrant is one-to-many cold, running paid ads. Paying Facebook, Google, or LinkedIn to basically force your lead magnet into the feeds of strangers.
Okay, but ads can be a total money pit. How do we not just set our cash on fire here?
This is the critical part about ads that most businesses completely misunderstand. You have to know what to measure.
What to measure? Okay, what's the metric?
Success isn't about getting cheap clicks or viral vanity metrics. It's about a specific financial ratio. Your lifetime gross profit, or LTGP, compared to your cost to acquire a customer, or CAC.
LTGP to CAC. I'm tracking with you, but I want to make sure I really understand that math. Can you break that down for, like, a normal business owner?
Sure. Let's say it costs you $100 in ad spend to get one person to actually buy your core offer. That $100 is your cost to acquire a customer.
Okay, my CAC is 100.
Now, over the lifetime of that customer doing business with you, let's say they bring in $400 in gross profit. Your ratio is 4 to 1.
Got it.
As long as that ratio is healthy, typically 3 to 1 or higher, you just keep spending.
Wait, but if I spend $100 to make $400 over the course of, say, 2 years, I still need cash today to keep the lights on. I can't just keep spending endlessly if I'm cash flow negative on day one, right?
That is a phenomenal point, and it's exactly why you measure both volume and efficiency. You have to optimize the system so the initial purchase covers the ad spend quickly.
Right, otherwise you just run out of cash.
Exactly. But the broader lesson is that you measure the true financial efficiency of your marketing, not just how many likes a post got.
Okay, so let's do another mini recap. I know the core 4 now. Warm outreach, posting content, cold outreach, and paid ads. And I know what to measure. But if I'm just starting out, I'm looking at all 4 of these and feeling, honestly, completely overwhelmed.
Oh, it's a lot.
I can't write cold emails, shoot TikToks, call my friends, and run Facebook ads all at the same exact time.
You absolutely shouldn't. And that leads into Hormozy's actionable implementation for this, which is the rule of 100.
The rule of 100, what is that?
It is a daily, non-negotiable commitment. You pick just one of the core 4 methods, and you commit to 100 units a day.
So like 100 direct reach outs, or 100 minutes a day focused purely on making content, or $100 a day on ads every single day.
Every single day. Why 100?
Because sheer volume negates luck. People try sending like 10 cold emails, get rejected, and say, oh, cold email doesn't work.
Right.
No, you just didn't do enough to let the statistics actually work in your favor.
Yeah.
You run that rule of 100 every day until you make enough money from those engaged leads to pay someone else to do the 100 daily units for you. Actually, this is a great place to introduce an idea for the listener. A way to really apply this without getting overwhelmed is to run 3 7-day experiments.
Oh, I love that. How would that work?
So for week 1, your 7-day experiment is just doing 100 warm reach outs a day. Just focus on that. Week 2, your next 7-day experiment, you spend 100 minutes a day writing content with the hook, retain, reward framework.
And then week 3.
Week 3, your final 7-day experiment, you send 100 cold emails a day using that targeted script we talked about. By the end of those 21 days, you will know exactly which of the core 4 works best for you.
That is brilliant. It completely removes the paralysis of trying to do everything at once.
Exactly, because doing 100 a day of anything is a grind. I can see how you'd hit a ceiling really fast. Even if I'm making money, I'm completely capped by the hours in my day.
Yes, you are.
If I stop sending emails, the leads stop coming. So how do I break through that ceiling?
That's the transition from linear growth to exponential growth. You need to activate what the source material calls the lead getters.
Lead getters. Okay, what are those?
Basically, there are ultimately only 2 ways people find out about your stuff. You tell them or other people tell them. The core 4 is you telling them. Lead getters are the other people.
The leverage. And the text breaks these down into 4 categories, right? First up are your customers.
Yep, word of mouth. Referrals are the absolute ultimate exponential growth engine because they cost you $0 to acquire.
But you mentioned earlier we need to track things mathematically. How do we measure word of mouth?
The metric here is the referral growth equation.
Yeah.
It's the percentage of clients referred monthly minus the percentage of clients churned monthly.
Okay, put some real numbers on that for me.
Yeah.
How does that math actually function in real life?
Imagine you have 100 clients. Every month, 10 clients quit, so your churn is 10%.
Okay.
But those 100 clients absolutely love your product, and they refer 15 new people that same month. You lost 10, you gained 15. You are adding 5 net new clients a month without spending a single cent on marketing.
That's the dream right there.
It is. But if only 5 refer and 10 quit, you're bleeding out. The goal is to make the product so overwhelmingly good that referrals naturally outpace churn.
Okay, so customers are the first lead getter. The second is employees, the people you literally hire to run your core 4 systems.
Exactly.
Third is agencies. And I have to admit, I hear marketing agency and my stomach drops a little.
Yeah.
Most businesses hate agencies because they feel like this expensive black box where money goes in and like maybe leads come out. Why would I want that?
Because you need to shift your perspective on what you are actually buying. Hormozy suggests looking at them as hired guns, sure, but more importantly, as paid tutors.
Paid tutors.
Yeah, they are out there in the trenches across dozens of different accounts. You pay them to bring in leads, but the hidden value is that you study what they are doing. You learn their frameworks, their ad copy, their targeting.
Oh, that's brilliant. You're basically buying their research and development.
Exactly.
Right.
And eventually you transfer those skills in-house to your own employees.
Love that. And the fourth lead getter is affiliates. These are other businesses or influencers that already have the audience you want. They sell your stuff to their followers for a cut of the profit.
Right.
The framework for launching an affiliate in the book is really interesting. Whisper, tease, shout.
It's a classic launch sequence.
Right. You whisper about something coming weeks in advance.
Mm-hmm.
You tease the specific elements of value as it gets closer. And then you shout to the rooftops on launch day.
But here is the major misconception people have when they start using these lead getters. They think, great, I hired an employee to do my cold emails. Now I can stop.
Wait, do you?
Oh,
Do you stop your daily rule of 100?
never. The core 4 stacks. You actually use the core 4 to acquire the lead getters.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you use cold outreach to find potential affiliates. You run paid ads to recruit top-tier employees. And when you finally get an employee, you don't just throw them to the wolves.
Right. You need a system.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the implementation checklist.
Exactly. The 3 Ds. Document, demonstrate, duplicate.
Document, demonstrate, duplicate. Walk me through that.
First, you document your exact process. If I'm hiring you to do my cold calls, I give you the exact script that got me results.
Okay.
Second, I demonstrate it. I sit down and make live calls right in front of you so you hear the tone, the pacing, the pauses.
You show them what right looks like.
Exactly. Third, I have you duplicate it perfectly while I watch and correct you. Once you can duplicate my exact inputs, suddenly I have a fleet of people doing the core 4 for me.
Okay, so let's do one last mini recap. The machine is absolutely humming now. I've got my killer lead magnet. My employees are doing the rule of 100 using the implementation checklist. Referrals are pouring in. The bank account is healthy.
It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. But this brings us to what might be the most dangerous hurdle at all, which is human nature.
Oh, without a doubt. Human nature is the enemy of scale.
Because when things are working, we get bored. I see a competitor blowing up on a new social media platform, or I read an article about some crazy new AI marketing trend, and I just want to drop what's working to chase the shiny new object.
It is a massive trap. To combat that urge to break your own machine, Hormozy provides the ultimate scaling framework. More, better, new.
More, better, new.
And the order is completely non-negotiable.
Okay, let's start with more. What does that look like?
Before you do anything else, before you try a new platform, you just do more of what is already working. If 100 cold emails a day is generating 2 clients, how do you send 1,000?
You just 10x the volume.
Exactly. You look for the constraint in your system,
Yeah.
the specific bottleneck where the most leads drop off. Maybe your website server crashes with too much traffic. Maybe your sales team just can't handle the call volume.
So you fix that constraint so the system can handle 10 times the volume. You exhaust more first.
Yeah.
And once I physically cannot do more, then I move to better, which is improving the absolute quality of the inputs. There's a stat from the text that totally blew my mind on this.
Oh, the Facebook one.
Yes, Facebook reviewed all the advertisers on their entire platform. Do you know what the top 0.1% of advertisers do differently than everyone else?
They don't have some secret algorithm hack, I'll tell you that.
Right. I assume they just knew some hidden targeting trick. But no, they test 11 times more creative assets than everyone else. 11 times.
It's just sheer iteration.
Yeah. They don't guess what works. They just iterate relentlessly until they find the absolute best, most efficient version of an ad.
That is the exact definition of better. Getting more engaged leads for the exact same amount of effort or spend. You are constantly running experiments, testing a different delivery method for your lead magnet, testing a different hook in your content, letting the data tell you what is actually better.
There's an analogy that really crystallized this idea of making things better for me. Hormozy advises against using software to pre-schedule your social media posts.
Right, he says to post manually.
Yeah, which at first that sounded wildly inefficient to me, but it's like a comedian testing material.
Yeah.
If you pre-schedule a tweet, it's like mailing a demo tape to a comedy club and just walking away.
Yeah.
You don't feel anything.
Right, there's no feedback.
Exactly. But when you hit post manually and just sit there, You feel the pressure of the live audience. If you hear crickets, it physically hurts. That immediate pain forces you to be sharper, to really pay attention to what hooks them, and to write a better joke next time.
That real-time feedback loop is everything. And only when you have completely maxed out more and completely maxed out better do you finally give yourself permission to try new.
New being a totally new platform or a new Core 4 method entirely.
Right. If you've dominated Twitter to the point of total exhaustion where more tweets don't help and better tweets don't move the needle, then, and only then, you can look at YouTube, but not a second before.
Man, this has been an absolute masterclass. Let's pull all these threads together to close out. We started at rock bottom, needing customers immediately. We learned we don't just blast noise, we craft a lead magnet. A free offer so unbelievably valuable that people literally feel guilty taking it. That's our bait.
Exactly.
Then we avoid overwhelm. We pick just one of the core 4 methods: warm outreach, cold outreach, content, or ads. And we apply the rule of 100, maybe trying those 7-day experiments we talked about. We execute 100 reps of that action every single day without fail.
And as those engaged leads turn into revenue, we don't just celebrate, we buy back our time.
Yes, the lead getters.
We stack the system by acquiring those lead getters, turning customers into referral engines, hiring employees and agencies, and using the document demonstrate duplicate checklists to ensure they do it perfectly.
And finally, we scale it relentlessly using the more better new framework. We find the constraints, we increase the volume, we test like a top 0.1%, and we absolutely ignore the shiny objects. Because the ultimate rule of the text is simple. All else being equal, when you double your leads, you double your business.
It is an incredibly potent system when you put all the pieces together. But, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a completely different application to think about.
Oh, where are we going with this?
Well, we've spent this entire time dissecting the psychology of business, how to capture attention, how to manufacture engagement, how to scale revenue. But think about how these exact same principles apply outside of business.
Oh, that's an interesting pivot, like in your personal life.
Exactly. Look at making friends in a new city or dating or networking for a new job. A lot of people sit around frustrated that they have no leads in their social life.
Right, they're just waiting.
But what is your lead magnet? What value are you offering to the people around you first, before asking for their time? Are you doing warm outreach to acquaintances? Or are you just waiting for them to invite you out? Are you putting in the reps, or are you complaining that the system is broken after sending one single text message?
That is a fascinating lens to look through. Are you waiting for the world to come to you, or are you actively building a machine to generate the relationships and opportunities you actually want? We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. How could you apply the Core 4 to a completely non-business area of your life right now? Drop your ideas in the comments below. We'll be reading them. Until next time, keep diving deep.